Good day everyone. We are Group 6 and we're going to present to you our case study about Procter & Gamble. Let's start with the brief background of Procter & Gamble Company. I am Erlene Yaput, the first reporter of our group. Let's start with the founders. Procter & Gamble is an American consumer goods giant specializing in a wide range of personal care and hygiene products. P&G was formed in 1837 when William Procter and James Gamble met by chance. Procter was an English candle maker in Cincinnati, Ohio, while Gamble was an Irish soap maker. The two entrepreneurs married Sister Olivia and Elizabeth Norris. After they became brothers-in-law, their father-in-law convinced them to go into business together, and this marked the beginning of Procter & Gamble Company. The years of development. In 1837, as they started out, their success was anything but certain. They have no such thing as a brand, and they have no real infrastructure to support a national market. Aside from that, there is a financial crisis in the United States during that time. Nevertheless, William Procter and James Gamble see an enormous opportunity to build their startup venture into a regional and perhaps even a national enterprise. Their being serene and relaxed amid the economic turbulence that hit the U.S. reflects their positive approach to business. Starting out as a simple soap and candle company in the tough economic times before the Civil War, Procter & Gamble has grown into a company that makes a little bit of everything within the household product sector. These days, we take things like candles and soap for granted, but back in 1800, candles were essential for light and the availability of hygiene product was limited. That is why we can say that Procter & Gamble are prime example of businessmen that recognize a demand and capitalize on it. The next is the program and innovation of P&G. In 1850, the company began to add its moon and star logo to goods that it sold to the market. And despite the rumor of impending civil war, they built a new plan to sustain their growth. So in 1850, P&G started marketing their candles with a simple star logo to identify that the candles in the boxes were the genuine article. And then, consumers started to rely on the logo for assurance that they were buying the products they trusted. That is why, when at one point the marking were removed, merchants refused to accept their deliveries because the product with the P&G Moon and Star logo are the only one that consumers wants to buy. From that, P&G had created its first consumer-driven brand. And by 1862, during the Civil War, the company won contract to supply the Union Army with soap and candles. This massively increased the profit of the company, and this military contract introduced soldiers from all over the U.S. to Procter & Gamble's product. In 1879, the second generation of Procter & Gamble is now running the business. Gamble's son, James, used his chemistry knowledge to create a cheaper equivalent of more expensive soap. He then this led to the birth of Ivory Soap. It is one of the country's earliest mass-marketed consumer brands, while William Procter's son, Harley, gave the soap its name after seeing the word ivory in the Bible soap. After that, he sketched out designs for the product packaging. He then created print advertisement to communicate Ivory Soap unique quality direct to the consumers themselves. And by 1887, William Cooper Procter, William Procter's grandson, established a profit-sharing program for the company's workforce. He hoped that by giving the workers a stake in the company, they would be less inclined to go on a strike. Over time, the company began to focus most of its attention on soap, and by 1890, the soap business grew into a diverse product lineup of more than 30 different soaps. In the 1900s, Procter & Gamble became known for its research laboratories where scientists worked to create new products. And by 1950, P&G started its global expansion, and the increasing demand for its soap products had led the company to establish plants and research laboratories in various locations outside US, particularly in Canada. Aside from that, they began to diversify its product. They started producing Crisco, a shortening made of vegetable oils. And by 1920, As electricity became more and more common, there became a steady decline of candle demand, and as a result, the company decided to phase out its candle manufacturing. And lastly, in 1924, the company expanded its dialogue with customers by creating one of the first market research departments. P&G started learning from customers in entirely new ways, changing not only the way they marketed to consumers but also how they innovate and created new products. Next is the dynamic growth and new markets. So in 1930, P&G expanded to United Kingdom and many other countries in the Western Europe. And as radio became more popular in the 1930s, the company sponsored several radio programs. As a result, the shows become commonly known as soap operas. And in 1935, P&G went to Asia, and by 1950, P&G went to Africa. And P&G transferred its soap opera format from radio to TV and became one of the world's largest television advertisers. As Procter & Gamble began branching out into new areas, numerous new products and brands were introduced. Company introduced Tide, the first heavy-duty synthetic laundry detergent, and Prel, a shampoo. Procter & Gamble started selling also the first toothpaste that contains fluoride, known as Crest. The company also purchased Charmin Pepper Mills and began manufacturing toilet paper and other paper products. And then, in 1960s, P&G start making its first fabric softener that is commonly known now as Downy, and fabric softener sheets that's known as Bounce. And one of the most revolutionary products that came out of the market was the company's Pampers. It is the first practical, affordable, disposable diaper. And by 1990s, P&G was among the first companies to begin using the internet to reach consumers and eventually use it to co-design and innovate many P&G's products and services. Next is P&G as a global company. A once small-owned family business became a multi-million-dollar company built on the foundation of quality and innovation in both the product and business practices. Over the second half of the 20th century, P&G went on buying spree of various known companies producing different line of products. These acquisitions significantly boosted P&G's plans to diversify and extend its operation in the worldwide market, as well as it aims to further globalize its market. Today, P&G operates in more than 180 countries and have more than $25 billion brands, including Crest, Pampers, and Head & Shoulders. With its massive operating capacity worldwide, it can serve a total of about 5 million people around the world. Aside from that, the company provides employment to 110,000 people worldwide, making it a key source of growth and social development in areas where it operates, like the Philippines. Next is the world market after globalization. The increased access to other countries' markets due to globalization facilitated the admission of a variety of foreign goods in different parts of the world. These imported goods do not pay the appropriate tariff because of the World Trade Organization's policy, which exempts them from paying high duties. As a result, when these products are offered for sale in the local market, they are essentially less expensive than the products produced locally. That's why, to address this fierce rivalry on the market, some local businesses have merged to increase their operating efficiency, leverage their financial power, and spark product breakthrough. And now we have the Procter & Gamble Philippines. Procter & Gamble Philippines is the local subsidiary of Procter & Gamble USA. It maintains a production unit in the country that produces the majority of the products produced by the main unit. P&G started its operation in the Philippines over 18 years ago, and P&G Philippines now is the third oldest P&G subsidiary globally. Philippines is anticipated to remain a crucial market for the global consumer goods businesses given P&G's long-term investment in expansion in the country. Now next we have the competitors analysis of P&G. We all know that the consumer goods market is very competitive because of consumers' needs and tastes vary from country to country, from gender to gender, and by age. So in order to get on the top of the market, the company needs to be innovative and diverse with its product lines and brand names, and also needs to have a great marketing strategy. Like what I've mentioned earlier, Procter & Gamble is one of the world's largest consumer goods companies. It operates in almost every country in the world in a variety of popular brand names. But it is not the only company that's trying to race on the top of the consumer goods industry. Presented to you is the P&G's 2022 net sales by business segment and its competitors in each segment. Let's start with the fabric and home care segment. This is the company's top-selling business segment, representing 35% of its net sales in 2022. P&G's major competitor in these segments include brand names like Palmolive, Ajax, and Clancy, which came from Colgate and Palmolive Company. There's also Surf and Persil from Unilever. The next is the baby, feminine, and family care segment, which accounted for the 25% of the Procter & Gamble net sales. So P&G major competitor in these segments include Colgate-Palmolive with brands like Tender Care, Unilever with brands like Switzel, and Church & Dwight Co. In the beauty segment, Avon is a major competitor of P&G, and it's known as one of the world's largest direct-selling beauty, household, and personal care companies. P&G's beauty segment represent 18% of the company's net sales for 2022, and other names in the beauty industry that rivals P&G includes Colgate-Palmolive, Revlon, and Unilever. In the healthcare segment, P&G major competitors includes Colgate-Palmolive, Church & Dwight Co., Ecolab, Stepan Company, and United Guardian. And this segment is accounted for 14% of the net sales of P&G in 2022. Then lastly, grooming segment. This segment is accounted for 8% of the Procter & Gamble net sales in 2022, and Gillette is a dominant market player in the grooming segment. P&G major competitor in this segment is Bic and Unilever. Here is the summary of the financial performance of P&G in the recent years. In terms of sales and net income of the company, you can see that there is a positive growth each year. You can also notice that there is a significant increase in the net income of the company during 2020. This is due to the pandemic that drives cleaning boom. According to Reuters, there is a surge in the demand for body soap, detergent, and dish soap as consumers clean their homes and their bodies more often amid the coronavirus pandemic. In terms of the current asset and liabilities of the company, although there is a significant increase in both the current asset and liabilities of the company in the year 2020, the company's current asset is still not enough to cover up for its current liabilities. According to my research, P&G company has been maintaining a negative working capital since 2010. We know that companies with more liabilities than assets, even in short term, are weak financially. This negative working capital usually forces company to raise unnecessary debt or sell non-current tangible assets to pay for their liabilities. So next we have the summary of P&G's financial ratio, starting with the liquidity ratio. As you can see, P&G's liquidity ratio is less than the industry average. This indicates that company's short-term assets are not enough to meet its current debt obligations. Next, we have the quick ratio. Like the first one, P&G's quick ratio is also below the industry average, meaning it doesn't have enough quick assets such as cash, cash equivalents, accounts receivable, and marketable security to pay off its currently maturing obligations. Then we have the P&G's inventory turnover ratio, which is higher than the industry average. This indicates that company has a strong sales, as this ratio measures how efficiently a company uses its inventory. Then we have accounts receivable turnover, which is also higher than the industry average. This could mean that the company is conservative about extending credit to customer and is efficient or aggressive with its collection practices. Next, we have the days sales in accounts receivable. As you can see, P&G's average collection period is lower than the industry average. This only means that it takes company fewer days to collect its accounts receivable. Similar with days in inventory, P&G's average selling period is less than the industry average. This also means that P&G sells its goods faster than other companies. Next, we have the operating margin of P&G, which is also above the industry average. This indicates that companies have more money to contribute to its indirect costs and expenses like interest. Next, we have return on asset that is also higher than the industry average. This means that P&G is more efficient and productive in managing its balance sheet to generate profit. And then we have the return on investment that is a little bit lower than the industry. Since there is only a point difference, we can totally say that P&G is ineffective in utilizing investment and that it produces losses. Since based on the financial summary presented a while ago, P&G's net income is continually increasing each year. Lastly, we have the cash flow ratio that is lower by half than the industry. This means that the firm does not generate enough cash flow to cover up its current liabilities. And that's the end of my report. Let's proceed now with the next reporter.
For the next part of the report, I will be discussing the problems that the Procter & Gamble is facing. So just a brief background of what is Procter & Gamble. It is a well-known industry that serves people all over the world with their high-quality products, such as their fabric detergents, soaps, healthcare, beauty products, and many more. So it has its subsidiary here in the Philippines, which is also known as Procter & Gamble Philippines Incorporated, in which it also maintains a high production unit that makes the majority of its product the most used and famous brand here in the local area. Because of its adaptation of constant strategies from the main unit, it makes it easier for them to address the constant demands and needs of the local market. Pero despite sa kanilang continuous growth and success, it also faces problems na somehow ay nakakahinder or nakaka-affect sa operation ng kanilang business. So first is the excessive regulation, in which nagkakaroon ng too much red tape sa isang organization. Too much red tape means merong mga unnecessary or unimportant policies na ini-implement yung isang organization na hindi naman part ng kanilang daily process or normal production. Nagkakos ito ng delays, especially pag nagkakaroon ng mali sa production, and also nagkakos ng pag-increase ng material cost, and even yung pag-rise ng packaging expenses. Second naman is failed implementation. Failed implementation means na nagkakaroon sila ng band-aid solutions only para sa kanilang mga problema, in which hindi nila na lalagyan ng more serious effort yung mga problems na dapat nilang i-resolve, and hindi nila ito na-address ng effectively and efficiently, since yung mga solutions na kanilang nilalagay ay hindi pang long term. Temporary lang siya para malimit lang yung problem ng isang company but not 100% ma-eliminate. Third one is the political instability and economic crisis. Kino-consider ng P&G ito na more serious problem nila since uncontrollable yung politics ng isang bansa. So with the political instability, nahihirapan yung P&G, yung organization nila na mag-adapt or mag-adjust into the new changes sa policies, sa rules and regulations na ini-implement. Especially if may bagong government official ang isang bansa, may bagong president, since nagkakaroon ng pagbabago within the rules, naapektuhan sila. Kaya ang nangyayari sa production nila ay nade-delay or nasa-stop. And moreover, yung political instability din is nakaka-affect din sa gastos nila, such as yung pagbabago ng mga tax, yung exportation and importation expenses na nilalaan nila. And pag nagkakaroon ng political instability, nagre-result din ito ng economic crisis in which yung mga corrupt government officials ay hindi na pagtutuunan ng pansin yung mga businesses within the Philippines. So with the economic crisis, katulad ng nangyayari ngayon, nagkakaroon ng inflation sa bansa and nagkakos ito ng pag-rise ng mga prices ng products, goods and services, especially hindi lamang yung mga foods, pati yung mga gasoline. So pag nagtataas yung gasoline, yung food, yung mga products din around them ay nagpipilitan ding magtaas. Especially sa isang business, nahihirapan sila na mag-cope up sa inflation since yung rising ng materials ay nakakahinder din sa kanila na gumawa ng affordable and cheaper products. And by this case, yung pagtaas ng materials ay nagre-result din sa pagtaas ng prices ng ino-offer nila sa consumer and sa local market. Kaya yung mga consumers ay napipilitan na mag-switch into more affordable and much cheaper products instead na sa branded ones. Lastly, hindi mawawala sa problem ng isang organization or company ang mga competitors since nagkaroon ng bagong threat sa business or sa organization ng PNG, naglabas yung SM ng product which is much cheaper than the PNG products. Same quality and same products offered but into a much cheaper price. And tinawag ito ng SM na bonus products. Yung paglabas ng mga products nito ay somehow naka-affect din sa business dahil naagawan sila ng consumers. Especially yung mga tao na naghahanap ng mas affordable ones. And also, dahil sa mga bagong technologies and systems na meron, nagkakaroon din yung manufacturers ng chance na mag-discover ng new schemes or marketing techniques which is nakaka-reduce ito ng cost na nagagastos sa production and yung mga raw materials na ginagamit. And especially yung pagkakaroon ng lower capital requirements. Since nagkakaroon ng new schemes na ganito, nakakatch nito yung attention ng mga investors, especially na mag-invest sa negosyo nila. Since hinahanap din ng investors ay ang business na gagastos sila ng mas maliit or magkakaroon ng lower capital pero nag-o-offer ng high quality products. Also, yung mga customers na nagtatry na mag-switch or maghanap ng mga products na mas mabibili nila into lower prices kahit hindi branded pero maganda yung quality at yung product na ino-offer. So, here are the 4 problems that the PNG is facing. And now, for the next discussion, let us talk about the various courses of actions or the possible solutions na pwedeng gawin ng PNG to help them eliminate or resolve their problems. The next reporter will be Miss Nicole De La Rosa.
Hi sir, I am Nicole De La Rosa and I'm going to report about the possible solution for Procter & Gamble or as we know as PNG. As mentioned in the case study, despite of all the success of Procter & Gamble, the company still experiences operational and management issues that affects its performance in the industry. With that, we prepared various courses of action that could help the company to resolve the problems we have identified. We have identified 4 problems and these are 1. Excessive regulation and red tape, 2. Failed implementations, 3. Political instability and economic crisis, 4. Competitors or competition in the market. And now we go to the discussion. For the first problem, excessive regulation and red tape, we prepared 2 possible solutions. First, the company must prepare a sufficient budget for unanticipated expenses and unexpected emergencies. Since the prices continue to rise, the company must be prepared by having money available to purchase the necessary supplies and equipment that are needed to run the day-to-day operation. Kasi alam naman natin na money is the most important aspect of the business, kaya kapag walang pera ang company, hindi magpapatuloy ang operasyon nito. Kinakailangan na palaging merong available para ready once na may mangyari to interrupt the business course. Second solution is the company must create more efficient processes, such as empowering the knowledge of their employees, especially the people inside the operation department. Employees are the first individuals who will notice the negative impact of red tape on the operation of the business. The Sinasabi lang dito, the management must ensure that their people are aware of what needs to be done once a crisis arises. And for the second problem naman, dito we prepared two solution. First, the management must fully understand the problem before deciding on what solution is more effective and cost efficient. Some problems require systematic research and other needs a quick decision. Employees need to be mindful of what kind of problems the company must focus on to reduce the time to be wasted on not so important matters. Kasi may mga problema na kinakailangan mapagdesisyonan ng lubusan para mas better yung maging outcome nito. Kasi alam naman natin na crucial sa isang corporation na tulad ng P&G ang decision making lalo na sa administrative and operational department nito. Meron ngang kasabihan na one bad decision or one bad and careless decision could affect the company and could lose millions of its profit. Ang second solution naman is the company must have a clear communication among the people involved in decision making. Once the management has established that the chosen implementation is necessary, there must be a report to know that the process aims to improve the operation of the business and not for personal gains. Ang sinasabi lang dito na in all business decisions that were made or to be made, the agreement between all the supervisor and head is important. Everyone in the company has the same goal, which is for it to succeed. So this means that all views and opinions must be heard before the implementation starts to prevent miscommunication and misallocation of budget along the process. And now we go to the third problem, which is political instability and economic crisis. Dito naman, we prepared three solutions. First, the company must look for operational efficiencies that can save its operation in a struggling economy, while ensuring that the employees and consumers are not directly affected by it. Alam kasi 'di ba, political instability can have a huge impact on future economic policies and regulation that could trigger high inflation rates that will eventually affect the growth of the company. And for the second solution, the company must protect its cash flows and it must be steady and reliable. If this means applying for government grants and other assistance, they must do so. Kasi we all know that maintaining capital is one of the most encountered problems when you're in economic crisis, since the whole industry is striving to keep afloat. Sabi nga nila, money is the lifeblood of every business. However, once there is an economic crisis, money is a huge problem. Dito kinakailangan na the company needs to take money assistance like loans, grants, and all that to help them survive and to continue their business, or else it will eventually close down. And for the third solution is the company may consider shifting to other products or introducing new products that are still high quality yet cheaper than before. Some entrepreneurs says that market disruption can lead to opportunity. Kaya they need to think out of the box to innovate more products that are on demand, then introduce it to the market. Sa case ng P&G, they are the corporation who mostly sells household products. Kaya they can introduce products like liquid soap in a small bottle with consumer-friendly packaging and many more. And for the last problem, which is competitors or competition in the market, we have prepared three possible solutions. First, the company must improve the quality of its product without increasing the prices. Kasi most consumer prefer quality over prices since they are aware that some brands are selling the same product with low quality materials or raw ingredients. Isa ito sa pinaka-common na issue sa pag-business ay yung may gumagaya sa product mo, then they will sell it to much lower price just to make sales. However, it is evident that P&G has already made its name in the global market and people already know that their products are effective and top ranked all over the world. Their brand name will be their number one advantage among all the competitors. They just have to create a marketing strategy that will overpower the brands that copying them. And for the second solution naman, the company must take the competition as a way to keep innovating the whole operation for consumers to stay interested in their brand. Sabi nga nila, sometimes facing a problem in the business industry is a good thing for the management to strengthen their advantage in the market. By constantly innovating, the company will stay focused on its goal, which is to serve its consumer and to make profit. And for the last solution, the management must provide better customer service. Customer engagement is one of the reasons why consumers remain loyal to their brands. To attract more customers, the company needs to have a clear message. Customers wants to know what you can do for them that no one else can, and that is how P&G will win this competition. Sa panahon kasi ngayon, mas pinagkakatiwalaan ng mga consumer yung brand or company na may good customer service, lalo na't nasa modern era na tayo. Most of the products are being sold online through social media platforms. Kaya naman, consumers do really rely on the brand na mayroong fast and efficient na customer service like P&G. Also, one bad review could affect how other people view your product and or your company. So, brand reputation is a must talaga ngayon. Also, before I end my discussion, one of the best solutions for a company to survive the modern global industry is to understand how the whole marketplace works. We all know that the global market is full of emerging brands that try to enter the market competition without prior knowledge about economy and how the business runs. And this is why most company close down after a year or so. Since the whole business industry is a roller coaster that not everyone can handle.
Good morning po. My name is Jamie Piel Manabat, and based on the problems faced by Procter& Gamble Company and the corresponding courses of action or various measures that the firm may take to address these problems that is presented by the former reporters, I will be discussing the recommendations to P&G. So since Procter& Gamble Company operates in an environment that is very dynamic, and despite the challenges that it faced, it has managed to survive the transformations brought by the external business environment through the years. Gaya ng nabanggit kanina, one of the major challenges that the firm is currently facing relates to an increase in the intensity of competition in the industry. And ilan sa mga main competitors or rivals ng P&G na nabanggit din kanina from its different product segments ay ang Colgate-Palmolive, Unilever, Avon, and Johnson & Johnson. Currently, it is evident that most of the industry players have adopted an aggressive operational and competitive strategies gaya ng continuous product improvement at ng new product development in an effort to meet the consumer's needs. Consequently, alam naman po natin na ang consumer goods industry or consumer goods market has become commoditized, and its transformation also emanates from the change in consumer behavior. Especially now na masasabi nating nagkaroon ng malaking pagbabago sa consumer behavior gawa ng COVID-19 pandemic. It changed and it affected how the consumers make their purchasing decisions regarding different aspects like its price, the product quality, and such. And since most of the products that P&G company offers are included in the basic needs, just like the laundry soap and laundry detergents, in order to survive in such an industry, it is essential for P&G's management to adopt effective growth strategies. And now I will present each of the strategies that the firm should consider adopting in its operations. The first recommendation is P&G should consider integrating the concept of product diversification. However, in order to successfully exploit its capabilities and core competencies, the firm should focus on fast-moving consumer goods, meaning it should focus on its segments that includes products that are sold quickly and at a relative cost. Specifically po sa fabric and home care segment nito, which consists of the brands Downy, Ariel, Tide, Bounce, and Febreze. Furthermore, yung strategy po na ito will enable P&G company to attract new customer groups. For the second recommendation, given how the consumer goods market is fiercely competitive, P&G company must have the ability to commercialize its products faster than any of its competitors. And this is accomplished by implementing an effective marketing strategy and focusing on customer responsiveness in order to position their products differently according to the changing needs and preferences of the people. So to explain this, in implementing an effective marketing strategy, an example is, let's say, for its brand Tide. P&G company may use three important strategies, which is to sell what the customers wanted, create value by differentiating their product from competitors, and as well as make a product which is convenient to use. And since in the detergent market po, marketers usually launch their detergent products in a small, easy-to-handle containers at a low price, and in this way, they want to prove that they were charging less for more, which is obviously not kasi ang nangyayari po sa ganito ay sasabihin nila na bumaba or nagbagsak sila ng presyo, but ang totoo niyan ay lumiit yung container or umonti yung quantity ng product nila, kaya nagawa nilang ibenta ito at a lower cost or at a lower price. Kaya naman, P&G company should adjust their commercialization strategy and increase their perceived value by innovating Tide, the product itself. And dito na po papasok yung customer responsiveness, which is where the firm should provide a customer service and communication that will eventually help the company to further develop or further modify its products na nakabase sa changing needs ng customers. Third recommendation is the firm should consider expanding its market by venturing into developing and emerging markets. As a result, this market expansion will enable the firm to maximize its sales revenue. Moreover, the firm will also be able to achieve economies of scale. So dahil isa nga po sa mga major threats sa P&G company ang threat of new entrants, which is where new competitors enter into the same industry that will put the company's competitive position at risk, isa sa mga possible po na barriers that the firm may use for this threat is the economies of scale. And through market expansion, the firm will be able to achieve cost advantage and cost reductions when it increases its level of production. For the fourth recommendation, P&G company should extensively regulate its research and development process and make sure that it has a sufficient budget. This will enable the firm to continuously improve the generation and production of its products. So to explain, research and development, as we all know po, is not just about creating new products, as it can also be used to strengthen an existing product with additional features. And being in a competitive market, mahalaga para sa P&G na mag-invest ito sa research and development by dedicating adequate time and sufficient resources in order to gain knowledge and gain insights that will eventually lead the company to improvements ng existing processes nito kung saan efficiency can be increased and costs can be reduced. The fifth one is it is important for the firm to consider developing products that are aligned with consumers' needs and wants by conducting a comprehensive and extensive consumer market research. As a result, P&G will be able to deliver high value to customers. So this recommendation po will be able to guide P&G to differentiate its products. So by conducting a comprehensive market research, mas makikilala ng company yung mga consumer nila and they will be able to get the heart of what the people want. Also, mas magiging aware po yung company sa potential threats and opportunities in the market, kaya naman mamiminimize yung risks na ma-encounter nito. In short, it is much better kung ilalaan ng P&G company yung portion of its investment on researching about the consumer and about the market instead na mas malaki yung maging risk or loss ng company dahil sa lack of knowledge and lack of perspective and understanding the market and the target customers. The sixth and last recommendation is, since P&G is a global company, it should consider developing a multi-domestic strategy that focuses advertising and commercial efforts on the needs of a local market rather than taking a more universal or global approach. As a result, it will be able to modify and adapt its products to suit local preferences. So dahil ang P&G company po ay nag-ooperate in different countries, adopting a multi-domestic strategy will give them a better access to local market advantages. Also, a highly localized product po will help P&G Philippines to ensure that the local product market fit, which will eventually enable the firm to have a competitive advantage from its competitors. So here, P&G company may introduce new brand for each region. Pwede rin itong i-adjust ang marketing strategy na ini-implement nila or kaya naman ay i-modify yung packaging of its products to match and to connect directly with the local market, as well as para na rin ma-maximize yung local responsiveness by using or working with local resources. That is all po for the recommendation. Thank you so much for listening, and the next reporter is Mariel Agader for the conclusion.
Good day, everyone. I am Marielle T. Agader, and I will be presenting the conclusion of our case study. So, ultimately, Procter and Gamble has faced tremendous obstacles throughout the years, prompting the corporation to alter its business strategy and model in order to better serve its stakeholders. The researchers' conclusions are presented based on the information they have acquired and studied. The first one, P&G is still one of the largest consumer product firms in the world and is a well-known industry that provides high-quality fabric detergents, soaps, healthcare, beauty products, and many more to people all over the world. Procter and Gamble was founded over 180 years ago as a simple soap and candle company. A once small-owned family business grew into a multi-million-dollar corporation by emphasizing quality and innovation in both product and business processes. P&G products have made a name for themselves by combining what's needed with what's possible, making laundry rooms, living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens, nurseries, and bathrooms a little more enjoyable for over 180 years. Second, although P&G can be classified as a stable and sound firm in general and despite its profitable and strong market position, P&G still faces concerns that impede the operation of its firm. Researchers found out that these issues include excessive regulation, ineffective implementation, political instability and economic crisis, and intense competition. And so, Procter and Gamble must develop measures to overcome its weaknesses and address threats. The researchers would like to emphasize the significance of analyzing the firm's operational difficulties because ignoring them can lead to more serious problems. Small changes can have huge repercussions for a large-scale global corporation like P&G. This implies that if organizational problems are not addressed properly, it can have a negative impact on the company's performance. This leads to the third conclusion that some organizational concerns of P&G stem from poor management. The excessive regulation and failed implementation that I have stated a while ago are effects of the lack of management expertise of P&G since the 1990s. Based on the given facts, the researchers concluded that the company should focus on proper organizational management as it enables the firm to make better use of its material and human resources, reduce expenses, and increase profits. The study reveals that only by responding with the proper strategic decisions can a corporation remain competitive. P&G's strategic concerns are primarily about leadership and effective management, which have a significant impact on the growth of the organization. In the next one, based on the findings, one of the most significant difficulties that P&G is now facing is increased competition or rivalry. Some of its competitors include Unilever, Avon, and Johnson and Johnson. The study shows that P&G product lines have a wide range of alternatives, which fuels fierce competition. The company must keep offering the customer brand new cutting-edge products in order to stand out from the competition. Furthermore, the researchers suggested that P&G should consider integrating product diversification while concentrating primarily on fast-moving consumer goods. This strategy will allow P&G to attract new customer groups while also successfully utilizing the company's capabilities and core competencies. Lastly, the researchers also concluded that P&G should develop more innovative approaches to address the changing needs of the market by investing more time, commitment, and resources in the company's research and development process. Their customers were the ones that ultimately use their products, and given the way in which the industry is highly customer demand driven, these customers are critical for driving P&G's product innovation. Additionally, it shows that the company should also conduct comprehensive consumer market research in order to provide great value to customers by developing strategies aligned with the consumer's needs and wants. So, in order to differentiate itself, the firm must continue to provide new, innovative products and branding to its customers. So, as a result, some impediments and challenges are unavoidable in this market, especially given the level of competitiveness. So, to gain a competitive advantage over other competitors and to expand for future growth, the researchers concluded that P&G should consider making efforts to have proper and effective management and to invest more in the research and development sector, particularly in innovations, while considering its stakeholders and, more importantly, the demands and preferences of its customers. So, to summarize the presentation, in the first part, Miss Arlene Yaput discusses the background of Procter and Gamble. It began as a small soap and candle company and has since grown to become one of the world's largest consumer product firms. Since then, P&G has been one of the leading consumer goods manufacturers in the market, with some of its innovative brands such as Tide, Rejoice, and Downy that we are familiar with. However, despite the continuous growth and success, P&G still has problems that somehow hinder the operation of its business. In the second part of the presentation, Ms. Alison Covero discusses these concerns. These are: 1. Excessive regulation which resulted in irreparable delays and higher costs. 2. Ineffective implementation with minimal effort done to address problems effectively. 3. Political instability and economic crisis which may be caused by corruption of higher officials. And 4. Intense competition through the introduction of cheaper products by other competitors. With that, Ms. Nicole De La Rosa proposed alternative courses of action that could assist the organization in resolving the identified issues. And based on the findings, one of the most significant difficulties that P&G is now facing is the competitive rivalry. Ms. Jamie Malabat provided various recommendations to make the firm more competitive and improve its growth strategies. And lastly, I, Mariel T. Agader, have presented the conclusion of our case study. So that ends our presentation. Thank you for listening.